want to clean this up a little bit. What do I have on here? Yeah, I got a drill. That's not gonna work. Fraser, whatever his real name is. He's on Star Trek Next Generation. He does not fit. I don't care how good you are, he's just not there. That's not him. Sorry guys, you can't see what I'm doing. No, I can't see what I'm doing. Try something. Try this one. This may be too small. I wanted it to look more natural and not like I just chopped it out of there. Yeah. It'll take a while, but we'll get there. I don't particularly care for that white rock I stuck there. So we're gonna have to do something with that. And there's some stuff in there I don't want. Not yet, anyway. There's some rocks inside this little cave thing that I did. And they went in there when I was doing this stuff. But I don't want them in there right now. I'm going to put a few in there later. But right now I want room to make it look more like water. Now, let me see what I have here that I can use. Take this one out. Put that there. These are more or less all diamonds. That's what that was. I need one something like this one. There we go. I gotta get another little container. I know I'm gonna end up dropping this one. Nope, brush don't go there. Actually, I want that brush. I gotta have that here. I wanna kind of smooth things off a little bit. I don't know if you can notice that or not. More of a toned down look now. It's not as bright. Now, for a little air. Okay, so what my plans are is I got to get this water to come out of here, down here, fill up this pool that's inside here, and then overflow both sides of this rock, but leaving the rock intact, just coming down each side, and then following the channels down both sides and a little bit from underneath, which will drip down into here. And I want a little bit of overflow to come over on these gaps right here. Now the problem here is if I just pour it and let it run over, it's going to run down and you're not going to see it. So I got to find a spot for it so it'll kind of like stay where I put it. So something like that is where it's going to have to stay. That's why I keep a lot of this little scrap wood over here. And this will take time. I'm not going to be able to finish this today. There. I can get some of this done today, and then tomorrow I can do this, but I can't do both of them at the same time. Make sure this is dried out. This stuff is pretty good, and it's really not all that much money. I mean, it's comparison to the other stuff. I got this at Hobby Lobby's. 2-part. You can't see what I'm doing, I'm sure, but right now I'm going to mix 2 shots into a baby food jar. Actually, 2 shots is probably going to be too much, but maybe I'll go a half a shot. Yeah, that'll be more than enough. N1AKN, N1AKN, okay, so that is finished right there. Now, I don't know if I remember telling you about this one that I found that was called 5, the numeral 5 dash 5, F-I-V-E, and how it was thinner. Now, see how you get the bubbles in this? Well, they may or may not work out, you know, because it's so thick. So, once I put the B in there, which is what? I don't even know. I think this is the hardener. Well, it doesn't really tell you here. Just says part A, part B, but it doesn't tell you which one's what. But meanwhile, I'll put that in there and let that drain. This will thin it up a little bit, but you still have to deal with those bubbles at times. Most of the time, you heat it up a little bit. Well, even then, you got to think about it, because putting a torch on this stuff, one is you got to pay attention to everything that you're doing. The other is, most of the time, the torch is only going to take off the surface bubbles. And you don't need to use an open flame to do that. You can do it with your breath through a straw. You can do it with a hair dryer. You don't need a torch to do it. And again, it works on the surface, giving you a clean surface. It's not going to do anything really when it comes down to the bubbles that are deep down inside. Now right now I'm just using a liquid. I'm not using the powder. The powder is a little bit heavier, plus it gives you a little bit of marble, which would be fine for most part, but I'm still looking for the transparency look. And I noticed that, here it is, I was getting brown powder, and I was wondering where the hell it was coming from, because this was open. Well, no more. Now, where's the blue? The blue, the blue! There it is. I'll show you something else here in a minute, but I don't need a lot of this, maybe a drop or two, or three, but that might be too much. Okay. I'm mixing this up. It's still a little thick, but it may let the bubbles out. Now I can't move this, but I will show you something in a minute when I'm done on what I'm looking to accomplish with the thinner. More of a transparent than I did with the powder. The powder, you can make it real light, but it still has that little marble in it because it's got like a metallic in it. Now, I'm going to see if I can just pour this in without getting the eyedropper or the syringe. Going to have a problem here already, I see it. Well, I'm going to have to chop it out, that's all. I'll show you in a minute. Now see, a lot of this is just going to run down and just kind of look like just a little blue marker, because it's going to be so thin. Because this has to be done in stages, and because you can't do it all at once, and it's going to want to move, you're going to end up with these different coats. Like inside this this little cave right now, it's almost full. And I don't want the whole thing full, but it's got to do what it's got to do in order to get in there. You know, to run. If I take this and tilt it any more down, that will just run off. And I don't know how far I can actually tilt that before I start losing it. I like to tilt it enough so that it'll run out of the cave, but then it's going to run out of where, see it? It's already running out. So I can't have it like that. I'm going to have to stay here. So we're not going to know until tomorrow on actually how we're going to work it or not work it. See here how it's somewhat transparent? You can see underneath. That's what I wanted. I want you to see the bottom somewhat in some spots. Now here, see how that cave filled up? It's not supposed to be there. It's only supposed to be on the bottom. But because this is on an angle, to try to keep that where it is, that's why that's filling up in the back. And as you can see, this already started running thinner than it should have. So I'm going to see if I can tilt this back this way and get more back out of that cave and get it up on here. And give me more up on top. But at the same token, it's got to look like it's running out of the bottom and just coming over the top. Now I can cut a lot of that out with the panel once it dries. But you got to try to find the spot where it's going to be the best place to leave it overnight. Doesn't seem to be traveling either way, so that would probably be the spot to leave it for now. And then I'll just do a lot of cutting with a Dremel tool tomorrow. That's kind of how it works, unfortunately. It's time. Now this is part of the hardest part because it takes a while. You know, cutting it and putting some greens and things in, that's a little different because you just, I'm going to leave the blue out because I'm going to be using it. Because you're just working with glues, so depending on the glue you can kind of get it set up and continue to work on it. If you use, you know, a quick dry, you know, like crazy glue or something. These are just things that I've been finding out, you know, on my own kind of. So, you know, because like I say, I still got to put some greens. I still got to do some more rock coloring. I still have to put in some trees. There's still a lot going on here that has to be done. But this is what's going to take the most time. And then you have to take it easy because if, for instance, I have everything done and I decided I wanted to put a little hairspray over it or something, and yes, I have hairspray over there, to kind of seal anything, I got to worry about it getting on the so-called water because it'll take away the sheen. Now sometimes you don't really need a sheen, but yeah, sometimes when certain things get enhanced, they look a little better. I mean, you take a picture of you on the water and you enhance the water's color a little bit, picture looks 100% better. And for this, I got some plans. Man, do I have some plans. There, turn that off. Unplug this for now. I think I have a whole spool of wire up here. It's probably going to be too thin, but let me put it over here so I can remember I have it. That's a solid. I also have this, which is actually a little too heavy. But I have, where the hell is it? I had it. I just don't know where I put it. I had it in my hand yesterday. Yesterday. It's a little heavier wire. I don't have to deal and worry about amps and volts that much if I have a heavier wire. It's the wire that's determining what's going on right now in the short. Now that doesn't mean that I can pump everything up full blow, because then I'm just going to start blowing fuses and burning shit out. But if I want to make it a little bit heavier and push it a little bit harder, you know, I can probably do that. And I'm going to play with that this week. Oh shit, I got an appointment today at the firehouse. What time is it? Oh, I forgot all about that. All right, guys, I gotta go.